being a data leader always comes with setting the right
Okay.
expectation with internal teams,
Mm-hmm.
your peers,
Mm-hmm.
your stakeholders, and with the management team.
Sure.
And making sure that as a data leader, you are driving the right impact and making the business decisions in a collaborative manner and then helping achieve the company goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
What really stands out as a key leadership style, to be very honest, as I personally have took the
Mm-hmm.
position of leadership in the last
Mm-hmm.
years as we
Mm-hmm.
as what I've also realized is as a leader, you just cannot work in extremes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be a leader who is only task oriented, result
Mm-hmm.
oriented, and doesn't care about people,
Mm-hmm.
and just want the team to just work slog and the work needs to be done. In
Sure.
this way, you just can't be able to retain people, nurture talent, or develop more leaders within your team to
Yeah. Yeah.
them have bigger responsibilities,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Eventually, the best data leader would ideally want the peers to step up and become the data leaders themselves, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, on the other hand, you also just can't be calm and composed, weak and passive when you are just putting people over task and result, and you are making sure that nobody feels offended. Everybody is being taken care of.
Yeah.
What they also want in isolated view.
Yeah.
In this way, you will make the workplace a little fragile.
Yeah.
And eventually, goals will get impacted. The business will take a hit. So the key leadership trait is the right balance in
Mm-hmm.
terms of meeting the business objectives as well as taking care of the people side of things.
Yeah.
The right balance between task and people, the goals and the relationship, the things that needs to be done in short term versus long term. At the same time, making sure that the aspirations of the individuals are in some manner being baked into your roadmap as well, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
eventually you need to have a career for yourself, for the
Mm-hmm.
company, and for the peers that you're working alongside with them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all three needs to go hand in hand,
Mm-hmm.
which also means that being a data leader, you need to enforce a culture of a lot of automation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. We haven't talked about it, but I think so in analytics, uh, the automation really takes a very front-loaded seat
Mm-hmm.
internally and externally.
Yeah.
Because when the real automation kicks in, you eventually end up saving a lot of manpower, hours, days, months,
Mm-hmm.
and then taking up very long, bigger charters, long-term projects. Right, with automation also really helps in terms of empowering the stakeholders with their own self-serve capabilities, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, being a data leader, you also need to brutally prioritize your work.
Yeah.
Because if you are running an analytics team, you are catering to central pod or a center of excellence. You'll be closely collaborating with the business, with the products, with the sales, with the E team, CEO office, support, collections, right? Multiple pods where the request will come in left, right, and center. And then you'll
Yeah.
have to take a hard stance in terms of having the right prioritization up and running.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, making sure that being a leader, you're also able to provide the right visibility to the entire workforce
Mm-hmm.
in terms of what's the front-loaded work,
Mm-hmm.
back-loaded work, which is being carried about. Cross-functional dependencies also is a best practices where you are trying to engage with a lot of other teams, are trying to sneak peek into the real problem that they are solving for, how analytics team can collaborate with them and do the goal setting together, drive the initiatives together. Also, I also truly believe that being a data leader, you really need to empower the stakeholders with the self-serve capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's the need of the hour coming in, where let's take an example of the stakeholders like the product managers working
Mm-hmm.
alongside with the analytics team, they really need to be geared up with the right resources. The analytics team needs to onboard those with the right set of tools, the knowledge transfer, so that the stakeholders themselves can run the queries, fetch the data,
Yeah.
self-serve their request. Oftentimes, there's a chaos in the organization where
Yeah.
it's being often called out that analytics team is becoming a bottleneck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and that's where the self-serve capabilities really hits, and the ship is sailing at a faster pace.
Yeah. So if I summarize, basically, it's creating assets, both in terms of people and tools and stuff, right? So if you have a culture where it's impact driven, but at the same time taken care of, right? You end up building people up who become assets. And similarly, through a culture of automation and trying to do as much, at least some bit of long-term work, right? Besides, obviously dealing with the fire on a daily basis, you will be able to at least free up this manpower, thereby set yourself for a more long-term success, right? So automation or creating these self-serve platforms. That way, you basically free up your team, and thereby you'll be able to attack the bigger, more interesting problems. And yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah, but nobody wants to do the boring stuff.
yeah,
Everyone wants to hop onto the hot kettle and just be grilled upon it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's what I think. So everyone demands that let the machine take care of the boring stuff and you do the exciting stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And that's the headspace where everyone should be aiming for.